Jeremy Stevens and Drakkar Klose. So, I mean, when I'm looking at this fight, there's something so beautiful about watching these kinds of guys, get at it. I mean, the weigh-ins, the face-offs, what was that all about? I think Jeremy Stevens is trying to sell a fight. I think Jeremy Stevens is trying to learn how to hate somebody. So his 1-4 UFC record right now can look a bit better. I don't blame him, but at the same time, when you're looking at the fights that he's had, the Yair Rodriguez twice, one was a no contest. Then you have the Magomed Sharipov fight, one of the biggest names in UFC right now who doesn't really fight as often, but is still such a pull. And then obviously you got Aldo and Kattar. Calvin Kattar, such a good striker, such a good boxer, was able to nail him with some big shots and elbows and dropped him pretty heavily. I always feel like Stevens is so susceptible to those like temple shots and those quick little inside boxing, dirty boxing type of strikes because he seems to get dropped by those. And I think that from an overall striking perspective, he has such a good opportunity here because he's going to be more versatile. He should be quicker on his feet. The one thing I like about our boy here in Drakkar Klose is just he's an athlete, man. He moves like an athlete. He's such a prototypical wrestler. He's got the big shots, right? So we know that he likes to throw the big right. I mean, Beneil Dariush is laying bodies in every weight. So I think that one is a little bit hard pressed. He actually was hurting Beneil Dariush a little bit too. Dariush even said himself he loves to get into those little quick bangers where mans are just throwing and Sue comes out on top. He even said, right, I win some, I lose some. That one he won. So unfortunately, Drakkar Klose, who was playing with his mouthpiece at the time of the shot, just took a massive overhand left and just got dropped. Fight ended. Funny enough, that's the fight where the meme with Anik, Cormier, and Rogan came from because that's the punch they're reacting to. So if you've used that meme or seen it in the past, give it up to Beneil Dariush and Drakkar Klose for making it happen. But that's where I think Drakkar can improve a little bit, right? We noticed that he was a little bit indisciplined with the striking, like with a guy who's got sneaky power like Beneil Dariush. I think Jeremy Stevens is in the same boat. In fact, I would go as far as saying that Jeremy Stevens might even be a more versatile striker than Beneil Dariush because Dariush has gotten better over the last few years. But Jeremy Stevens has been fighting the best fighters in the UFC since what? UFC 71 was his first, and he lost to Dean Thomas via armbar. That's how long Jeremy Stevens has been in the UFC. So when I'm taking in just the striking that he can bring to the table, I think both guys have pretty good submission defense, which is takedown defense is what I'm really excited about. For the one thing I wanted to check on with our main man, Jeremy Stevens, is I think the wrestling was always something that people might criticize him for. But when you look at the takedown defense, it's still sitting at 65% versus Drakkar Klose's 68%. And that's the thing I like about Stevens in this fight is that despite being such a big, actually pulling in as the favorite, I think that it comes with the versatility in striking and the potential work he can do on top. I think that he's got great elbows. He's got great strikes. He just has to avoid those big overhand shots that might put him out. And some of the wrestling, if I'm Drakkar, I'm getting this fight up against the fence. I'm working it to the ground. I'm not letting Jeremy Stevens get some of these kicks off, some of these elbows up, big punches. I don't want to stand and bang with Jeremy Stevens. If I'm Drakkar Klose, I'm going to turn this into a wrestling fight and force him to play my game because Drakkar Klose should be the better wrestler here. And I think that if he takes that opportunity, he might be able to squeeze out a good decision here. I think it's going to be tough to submit him. It's going to be tough to finish him without that crazy versatility, like a Beneil or someone has, because if it comes down to the one punch, good strikers pick up on that by the second round. I think that's going to be something where if he keeps throwing the same punches, Jeremy's going to be able to avoid them or defend them or roll with them. And he's going to be able to get off some good body strikes to tire him out, good elbows. That's where I see Jeremy having good success. But if this fight goes to the ground, if Drakkar chooses to use the wrestling, I think there's a lot of opportunity here for him to pull off an upset. And again, when I'm looking at the lines, very similar to what we just discussed with Chase Sherman, Drakkar Klose is sitting at a comfortable plus 100. We're seeing some places, even put him at a plus 105, but these guys opened at minus 110 and minus 120 respectively. So, if you have a lean in this fight, by all means, go for it and enjoy it because I think it just comes down to those two things. And I guess it just so happens that Drakkar Klose's wrestling is just as good as Jeremy Stevens' striking. And I think that's what we're going to see who can come out on top between both of these guys, pitting those skills together. I'm excited for it. No real size difference. Both guys fight orthodox. So I think this is going to be hella competitive. And again, their striking is just so close, man. The 3.1 versus the 3.8 in Stevens versus, Drakkar and the strikes landed per minute. The absorbed is literally 3.06 versus 3.64. more. So from a volume perspective, Drakkar Klose is throwing way more and eating way more, but it's just such a smidgen of a punch. So I think this is hella close of a fight. Depending on where the fight goes, it could be anyone's game. So keep it locked. I think that's going to be one of the best fights of the night.